And welcome to HUFC TV on this delightful winter afternoon here in Melbourne. We're back at headquarters, Catalina Street, the Olympic Village, our second game of a weekend doubleheader. It was the ladies yesterday and it is the gentlemen today as Heidelberg take on Kingston City. In round 25, the PS4 NPL, it's 2/3 of the 8 team this afternoon. Yours truly, Greg Blake, joined by John Fodinos. J Fot, it's another big day as the season progresses. Each game, you say how important it is. Well, today is critical again.
And good afternoon to you too, Greg Blake. It is the penultimate game of the regular season. There's a word for Dougie if he's out there watching. Penultimate means the second to last. And it's, as you said, Greg, a huge game this afternoon. The Burgers, with a win, would just about have one foot in the door of that Premier's Plate. But
now the Premier's Plate, of course, just to make it clear on HUFC TV for those watching around the globe, the Premier's Plate is first past the post, and then we go on to the Championship, which is the final series. First past the post. Now here's the setup for this afternoon as we watch the team line up for the team photograph before the game. Here's the situation. Heidelberg currently lead the competition on 48 points. Now the two challengers are South Melbourne and Bentley Greens, 3 points behind. They play
at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
At 4 o'clock this afternoon. So at 4 o'clock, which is our half time, we will keep an eye on the score there. The ideal result for Heidelberg would be a draw between those two teams, and for Heidelberg to get the W today, and that would clinch the Premier's Plate for Heidelberg this afternoon. So many things to work through, and the immediate cause is getting the 3 points here this afternoon. Heidelberg coming in off their biggest whacking of the season, getting beaten 5-1 at Oakley last Friday week, J Fott. That was not a night to relish.
It was. You could see it was quite obvious that the boys were suffering a bit of a physical and emotional letdown, and we just saw there in view at the bottom of the camera an ex-Fitzroy United. We're going back to the days before.
Going back to, I think, 73 through 77. Yes, George Gillen played for the old Fitzroy Alexander club.
And, of course, which is the original name of the club. And he was one of the great strikers for the Burgers in that era.
He was a feared striker, long blonde hair, George Gillen.
And so we might have a chat to him later, I believe. If we can get him up here into the commentary position. But interestingly, the fallout from last Friday was that George Katsakis serves a one-match ban. So the Heidelberg bench will be sans their regular coach, and it'll be Jeff Olver with those duties this afternoon as George has to sit out a one-match ban.
So getting ready for a start. The weather conditions are sunny and about 15 degrees, but there is a fair wind blowing down the ground to the right of screen. That is toward the Murray Road or scoreboard end of the ground, into which Heidelberg are attacking in this first half in the yellow and black, of course, the traditional colours.
Yes, and in team news, no Stephen Pace this afternoon. So his spot at centre-back will be taken up by the number 4, Jordan Wilkes. And no Les Dumbalis, so it looks like Ruben Way, who excelled at left-back against Kingston in the 2 previous meetings this season. So he's taken up that spot. And coming into the side back is Harry Noon. And, of course, also Adrian Zara.
So Kingston City in the red and white shorts. And that ball, look at the way it just sat in the breeze that's blowing down the ground. Kingston City to the left of screen down toward the social club into the ground. Thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, it's HUFC TV, live across the country and across the globe. Zara with the darting run toward the corner flag. We're a minute in, no score. Kingston City with very, very little to play for this afternoon. It'll be interesting how they approach the game. They're betwixt and between. They can't get relegated, and of course they can't make the top 6.
Yeah, all they can really hope to achieve is play the role of spoiler in the next 2 weeks. They've got Heidelberg today, of course, and next week they meet South Melbourne.
Ruben Way near post, Kenny. Ellis caresses it down. Champ gets the cross in. Kingston may get the break.
Sammy Noor, that is, Greg. Sighting machine.
And he's just barged off the football by Harry Noon, who looks incredulous that the referee pulled him up.
The interesting thing about that was a physical challenge. Harry Noon barely looked like he made contact. Sammy Noor went careering forward.
Away by JW down the line. Hit Kenny perfectly. Kenny through the gap. Good work by Shakazada. Zara. Ruben.
Kanakaris out there.
Costa. Dougie's new favourite player. Ruben Way continues the drive down that left-hand side. Squares the ball in. Away by Aiden. And Kingston clear with no great aplomb. Ball straight out of play. It'll be a Heidelberg throw-in.
I would think the tactic would be, if you're going towards that clubhouse end, is to try and keep the ball down on the pitch as low as possible, because that wind's just holding the ball right up.
Last home game of the season in the regular season. Anyway, Heidelberg would, of course, host a final, finishing top 2.
Yeah, lots of permutations and combinations this afternoon. But the key factor for Heidelberg is to notch up a W, as you said, Greg.
Ruben with the lofted throw into the danger zone. Kenny got the header down. Harry Noon air ball. Sean Ellis left foot. Hooked it. Tries again. Goes again. Shawnee Ellis, the factor. And in the end, Ruben Way carooms it out of play. But a nice positive start by Heidelberg, looking at a darn sight more energetic than they did at Jack Edwards Reserve last time out.
The difference of 3 games in 7 days versus an 8-day break in between the Oakley game and tonight, or this afternoon. And already you can see the tempo and energy levels back up to what we'd expect from this Heidelberg team.
It just must be, and you mentioned before, George Katsakis, the senior coach, suspended for a week, so we know not where he is, but he can't be on the bench, and he can't be in the rooms, he can't talk to the players. So he'll be chewing his fingernails, I suspect.
He may be up in the camera position from what our spies are telling us, so you're getting the bird's eye view as you'd be getting the coach's view you're getting here on HUFC TV.
Thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, live across the country, across the globe and into the stratosphere. Harry Noon steps around the challenges, the eager challenges from Erhan Yalaz. Jack Petrie, that's Yalaz, dance steps. Konstantinidis, straight in the arms of the hyphenator. And with the aid of the breeze, he's launched a rocket from one end to the other. One bounce back for Kyle Kennedy.
What do you call that, electric pink?
It's a disco colour.
It's straight out of the fabulous 80s fashion wares. Kingston on the break now. Chance to get an early ball in, and well down by Chris Erderidis. Had to get down well and make sure that ball didn't spill. The end-to-end stuff here.
Adrian Zara
looks for the
sweeps it down the ground. Kenny's got the legs to get past the defender. Kenny into the box. Goalkeeper just thwarted him at the last moment, and it will be a corner to Heidelberg. But releasing the long striding King.
Just couldn't get the ball out from under his feet, and it just gave the defenders and goalkeeper enough time to just get there in time to close him out. And it'll be a corner kick.
5.5 away, no score. Jumping Jack scampers down to the corner flag at the Murray Road end. The diminutive number 10, Jack Petrie. 5-step drop. Curls it into the danger zone. Almost off the line by the defender. Biles, the Iceman, the skipper. McCoy. Really was indecisive in the end. He ran 2 half circles and then ran the ball out of play. It'll turn over. JW with the throw for Heidelberg just inside defensive half. Lofts it long. Hooked away from the danger zone. JW did well. Kenny. Noir, been busy. Hit and hope, but he was successful.
Luke Bowles with a heavy challenge there on Muad Zwed.
The referee's going to have a chat to the skipper.
Did win the ball, but might have just got collected the back of Zved's legs there. So the referee penalising the Heidelberg skipper.
Round 25, PS4 NPL live action on HUFC TV. Disappointment yesterday for the women's team, leading 2-1 and conceding a goal with less than 2 minutes remaining in stoppage time in the second half. Let's hope we don't suffer the same indignity this afternoon as Heidelberg look to clinch first past the post, the minor premiership, the Premier's, what's it called?
Plate.
Premier's Plate, that's the one, that's where I was going.
This we've dubbed it this year, or the Daniel Andrews utensil.
Daniel Andrews, of course, the Premier of Victoria, Stamatiou. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Stamatiou.
So Kyle Kennedy, in his attention-seeking get-up,
He's even got the matching boots there, Greg. Well, he's given that way.
straight into Sean Ellis, who made a bit of a hash of that himself.
And it was a handball, I think, by Sean Ellis that time.
So scoreless here at Catalina Street this afternoon. It's been a couple of big weeks for the club. We had the big announcement on Thursday night on the weekend pump.
Yes,
With the
big sponsorship deal.
500 large pumped into the coffers of Heidelberg United.
And that's to develop the Mini Roos program, which is the under-11s and under that. So.
And don't forget, every Thursday evening, 7:30 live, all things Heidelberg. It's the weekend pump with. So I'm stuck with J-Fod again for another half hour that I won't get back. Errant ball out of play. Breeze not quite gusting as much as it was at kickoff, which was 8-9 minutes ago. Petrie, JW. Here Jordan goes long. Shakazada away for Kingston. Only to a nest of Heidelberg players, the champ. Tried to angle it back in the end. To Petrie, back for the Iceman. Luke Biles, long back spinner, Sean Ellis. Drags it in, Ellis into the penalty area. And it is a penalty. It looked obvious.
Well, Greg, I've got to go back to that. I mean, let's have a look at that on the replay. But what made this was the beautiful takedown. Have a look at that. Just one touch, gets around the defender, and then he's always struggling there and brings him down. And it'll be Kenny Athieu with a chance to score his 16th for the season and move to within one goal of the Golden Boot holder at the moment, which is Dusan Bosniak of Oakley.
How about that bomb from the Iceman into the path of Sean Ellis as well?
You could see peeled away from the shoulder of the defender there, and well spotted by Luke Bowles. But the takedown for me was what made that.
So it's Kenny against Kennedy. The King. Nails it! Nails it, does King Kenny. 26 goals League and Cup this year.
But once again, the factor was a factor in that one. But Kenny Athieu puts it away expertly, and on 10 minutes, the Burgers with a 1-0 lead, and that'll settle the nerves a bit. You're always in a situation like this, you want to get that early goal just to settle the tension down a little. And to be fair, they've been very, very good tempo so far.
So again, the permutations. Heidelberg get a W here this afternoon, and they will remain top of the ladder, clear by 5. But then it's all dependent on the big game down at Lakeside Stadium this afternoon. South Melbourne second, hosting Bentley Greens third.
And you can see there Kenny Athieu, when he gets that goal, he's confident now, almost picked off the defender. And a chance to attack again.
Back header on by Kenny. Kanakaris, ball bobbles, hooked away to safety. Great win by the champ. Jack Petrie in support. Down the line for Kanakara's cheap giveaway.
Zara was offside that time, Greg. Tried to make the run in behind that fullback.
So we're 11 minutes in and Heidelberg lead it by 1. Who else but King Kenny Athiu with the go-ahead goal from the penalty spot.
Of course, he had one saved last week down at Oakley.
Everything that could go wrong did go wrong at Oakley last week if you watched it on HUFC TV. Shakazada, Kenny brings the pressure.
And he switched on today, isn't he? They're doing all those little one-percenters, as we call them.
They just look infinitely sharper than they did down at Jack Edwards Reserve on Friday night.
And we've been joined shortly by a special co-commentator here.
I'll steal Nick's chair for the time being. Hi boys, how are we?
Yes, and that's the one and only good Demi. That's one and only Demi Papaioannou.
Yep, that's me.
Sean Ellis, Zara gets the slightest of shoves. Daniel Bennett clears it for Kingston City.
What have you made of the first 10 or 12 minutes, Demi?
I mean, from my viewpoint in the club's rooms, it wasn't very great, but Kenny always does the job. I think that makes him equal top with Verskip now, doesn't he?
No, he's
16?
Dusan Bosniak is 17 goals.
Okay, there you go.
And I think Kenny's outright second from 16.
So
Yes.
Demi's been inserting herself into all the HUFC television lately. She was on the pump on Thursday. She's on the live call team today, Demi.
Love your presence, Blakey and Jay Folt. What can I say?
How could you not? Oh, Costa.
Ooh.
That was an ugly miss. Throw in.
Yeah.
How's your week been with organising everything?
It's been a very big week for HUFC this week. We announced the $500,000 deal with Osaka, which was it's great for grassroots football.
And of course, I've got the big arrangements for the upcoming trip to Sydney against Sydney United in a week and a half's time.
We've got quite a few Burger supporters heading up, which is really exciting. So it's going to have a decent crowd, rooting for the throw-in over everything.
Now, I was going to point out, I did get a message earlier from a club associate, Nick Katsakis, who of course is the father of George, and he said, and this is for people that are watching and want to get up to the game in Sydney, the club is trying to organise a bus. If you want to ring Nick on 0411 374 869, you can speak to him, and he's trying to get numbers and organise a bus to get supporters up there. So
It'll be a very, very big night. So if you want to join Heidelberg supporters, kindred souls, if you will, for the journey to Edensor Park on the 23rd. Harry Noon,
Good to see
unsure,
Harry back.
swivels out of trouble. JW with the overlap run has to check it. Lofts one, won't bounce for Kenny. Just toe pokes it down. Kanakaris. Petrie for Harry Noon. Closed down. Back for Air Jordan. Harry Noon. Wilkes again. Petrie in a little bit of trouble. Back to the Iceman. The champ. Over half field. Crisp passing by Heidelberg. Zara. Looks to go long. Just a wee bit too ambitious. Got some gas on it. And straight into the arms of Kyle Kennedy.
There's a lot on the line for us today to come on top with a big win. If South and Bentley obviously bring home a draw, that's an ideal outcome for today.
I suspect that both South Melbourne and Bentley Greens will be abundantly aware of the situation, and they'll be both trying to go for the W. Mm-hmm. I doubt we'll get a draw in that one.
That's the only pathway for either of those two teams to
Exactly.
actually end up with the top position for 2017 would be for either of those two teams to win. So I don't think either of them will be playing for a draw.
No. But I mean, two competitive sides looking for a win can usually equal a draw.
So far, so good though for
Demi
Heidelberg.
P, Jay Fott, and yours truly, Blakey, on deck for Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, HUFC TV, this afternoon. Playing a little game of musical chairs, Demi, as always. Interrupting the flow, Ruben Way with the toss. Gets it deep into attacking territory. Kenny
flying high.
Ruben Way goes far post.
Oh, Ellis.
Shawnee Ellis can't quite control it as he would have wished. Pressure from Nick Stamatiu, the skipper of Kingston City.
Got to say, he's got amazing ability to trap those high balls coming through. Has Sean Ellis, the factor.
Jumpin' Jack with the corner from the far side on the Murray Road end on a gorgeous winter afternoon. For the first time in months, I can feel my fingers, which is wonderful. A leap from the goalkeeper. He flapped at it. And in the end, Harry Noon pops it over the bar. Demi, you were in the presence of greatness before the game. George Gillen,
I was.
Special guest of the club.
I was.
One of the legends of Heidelberg. Did you get much of a chance to speak to him?
I did, and he mentioned that he would love to get down more often than he does, but championship side from 75, and it's always a great privilege to have these greats down at the club and do what we can for them when they're here. It's a great history of this club. It's 60 years of history, so we like to honour that as much as we can.
We honour it, we cherish it.
Absolutely.
Luke Biles, Ellis, first time. Kenny corrals the ball.
Ooh.
Cheeky. Sakada. Thank you very much. Noir is going to lose it. Ball reef loose. JW strides after it. Ball out of play. Kingston City throw.
JW just looks like he's ready to just sprint for a whole game. He just wants to go out there. He's got so much energy in him. 7 weeks from the sidelines, I think, itched him a lot.
Kennedy turns it upfield. Kingston City. It's not.
And speaking of George Gillen,
Ball round the corner for Kenny. Right foot squared. Red shirts are there. Brave by JW against Anyales. That's almost like the challenge against South Melbourne where he actually shattered his collarbone.
Just going back to George Gillen, 87 games for the old Fitzroy United, which is a precursor of Heidelberg United, and 42 goals. So not a bad strike rate there.
And as Demi pointed out, played in the 75 championship winning team and the first NSL team in 77.
Indeed.
Diving header clear, Ruben Way. Fetched the loose ball. Takes a cannon off Muad Zwedi.
Zved.
Oh, your handwriting's appalling, John.
I can't really see the sheet.
Ruben Way with the throw for Heidelberg. Zwed sweeps it upfield, only as far as the skipper.
Kingston hasn't had much possession up to this point, have they?
They haven't looked on the money yet. Heidelberg is sharp. They lead it by 1. We're nearly 20 minutes old on HUFC TV. This afternoon at Catalina Street headquarters, where we film the weekend pump as well every Thursday, 7:30. Take a look. All things Heidelberg.
Come on, Adrian.
Zara is getting arm wrestled. Gets the cross in.
No one in the box.
And the slice was clear. Bouncing ball. Kenny does keep it in. Dangerous. Kanakaris was prowling. Oh, Jack Petrie just determined, muscled his way through. JW, ouch. And he will draw the free kick. Muad Zwed has gone to ground as well.
And he looks like he came off second best there.
He's done himself no favours, that's for sure. It's going to be a free kick to Heidelberg. They're up by 1 thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers.
An 11th minute goal by Kenny.
And as you said, Demi, really it's all been played in one half at the moment. Kingston City can barely get to halfway at the moment. Chris Erterides, I can see to the left there, is actually trying to keep warm just by running around because he's had nothing to do really.
Sweaty's still down on the ground. I hope he's okay. He's come off second best, as you mentioned earlier.
New camera position for HUFC TV today, getting a really good look at the action here from...
Yeah, that's the coach's eye view at the moment because I believe George is up there.
No, I think he stationed himself down along the sideline. He moved. I think he got up there and realised how wavy it was.
discretion the better part of valour, I think, at the end of the day.
So we've lost around 90 seconds waiting for
I think he's genuine.
some news. I think he's genuinely not feeling all the best after that challenge on Josh Wilkins.
Josh Wilkins is a solid body as well. He didn't even notice when he broke his collarbone that he'd broken it at first instance. He was talking to me about it, and he's gone, "Can I go back on?" And he showed his shoulder to Telford, our physio, and he's gone, "Oh, I think you've broken
Stretcher
that in a
coming
few
out,
joints."
boys and girls. It looks like I think what happened there was as he came through on the tackle, his knee might have just collapsed. I reckon he might have done an ACL there.
Well, I'm not sure you did 7 years medical training to
I just thought
establish that.
ACL sounded very knowledgeable.
Well, it's very dramatic.
Oh,
But, let's
So
not make light of it.
yeah, regardless, Muad's wet is being stretchered out of the contest. We've played 22 and a half minutes, thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers. On another huge afternoon for Heidelberg, a bit of a pressure reliever though from the penalty spot. Sean Ellis earning the penalty, Kenny Atheu nailing the resultant spot kick, and that's the way it stayed. So Sean Ellis will take this free kick, perfect for his lethal left foot, the factor, particularly with that breeze blowing to the right of screen. Goes one in, and he just put a little too much on that one.
it bent very, very miraculously. It's very interesting to watch from this angle how much the wind forced that to bend as well.
Have they made a substitution yet? Or?
I haven't seen them bring anybody on, so they're down to 10 men.
I see he's running now, but
Well, that's good news for Kingston City.
it's actually quite common that with ACLs to feel really very pain. It's very painful in the first instance, in the first couple minutes, and then you can get up and start running. But yeah, it can be very much an ACL. The pain is very instantaneous, but it doesn't.
Oh dear, Kyle Kennedy. Nearly
Almost got picked off there.
got picked off. Oh, he of the bright pink. It's very insightful, Demi, regarding the ACL. Harry Noon.
Had a friend that's done 2 ACLs and I was there through all the recovery and then the ACL's being done, so I've heard firsthand what it can be like. It can be quite dangerous because you can't actually feel it. You can continue on your daily life if you haven't had the operation yet. You just can't do high impact, but if you're not careful, you can do really serious damage if you go back onto the pitch with a torn ACL.
Jack Petrie with the corner for Heidelberg. They're up by 1. Gee, that's a searching ball, and it wasn't far away from nailing it straight from the corner kick.
You can see, well, I don't know if our cameraman can pick it up, but those corner flags are really bent right back, showing that wind's really picked up a little since the first whistle. There it is.
So the regulation season road for Heidelberg, this is their last home game at headquarters in the league this season, and then they head to Bulleen next Sunday for the final game of the season. And I think you mentioned on the weekend pump the other night, Joe, you don't want to have to go to Bulleen, you don't want to have to go on the road and win to clinch the minor premiership.
Well, I guess one benefit of playing at Bulleen next week will be that it is an artificial pitch, which will be similar in nature to the game up against Sydney United for the FFA Cup, which is also a artificial pitch. I'm not sure if it's the exact same surface, but at least it'll give the boys an idea of what to expect up in Sydney.
26 away, and Heidelberg lead it by a goal to 0. Demi P, Jay Fott, and yours truly, Blakey, calling the action from Catalina Street this afternoon. Sean Ellis, the flame-haired Scotsman. Good to see him back in form.
See how far he's going to bend to this one.
That was gorgeous, and the goalkeeper reached.
Just got a touch on it.
So another corner, and almost the entire first 25 minutes played in Kingston City's half. Kingston City coming in 10th on the ladder, 7 wins, 7 draws and 10 losses for the season.
I think it's been a creditable performance, really, by Nick Tolios and his squad, coming up from NPL 1.
Jack Petrie with the corner for Heidelberg. Goalkeeper, double fist away. Sean Ellis, left foot rocket!
Well, that was goal bound.
It was absolutely. He calibrated that almost perfectly, and it takes the deflection, so we're going to get another corner. Let's look.
Yeah, there was a cross in, punched away by Kyle Kennedy. Again, a lovely first touch and a brilliant save in the end.
So Jack Petrie, take 2 from that far side corner. Heidelberg lead by 1. Lofted cross. This time the goalkeeper fingertips it away. It's going to be another corner. So the pressure, the thumb screws being tightly wound by Heidelberg at this point. It's been an emphatic first 27, 28 minutes. Sean Ellis. 4-step run up. Dangerous again, and the goalkeeper again. So it's going to be 4 consecutive corners, all as a result of the goalkeeper.
I mean, the goalkeeper isn't the largest person in that box either, so he's got his work cut out.
Let's have a
for
look
him.
at that again, guys. Again, swung in by Sean Ellis, and actually good keeping that time.
Got good height on his edges there.
But he's certainly been given a workover at the moment.
Windsor Management Insurance Brokers telling us that it's 1-0 Heidelberg as we approach the half-hour mark. Jack Petrie from the far side again. Goalkeeper double fist again. This time they'll get a pressure valve release. Will Kingston City. And Sammy Noir went up and hit the deck. So they're up off the Kingston bench and not especially thrilled about the challenge.
I mean, I jumped too if I saw Josh Wilkins coming at me.
I'll tell you what, I fear for our cameraman. That ball was kicked away by Harry Noon, and I reckon it would have just missed our cameraman Paul up there. Would have been ducking for cover.
Erhan Yalaz.
And there's a player going off
Fasil
there.
Aiden.
There's a player that's been dragged to the bench there. Is that Zwed again?
Keep an eye on that. So he came back into the game after that challenge on JW earlier on. Jack Petrie under pressure.
Turns it over.
Well done, Harry Noon. Just got a foot in timely. Kanakaris dances out of trouble. Back for the hyphenator. Theodoridis Petropoulos.
Sends a long ball.
Oh, Luke Biles did well in the air. Kanakaris back on the deck. Spins it out wide. This is where the penalty came from. Biles wide right to Ellis again. Ellis steps inside onto his favoured left. Good anticipation by the defender. He stayed with him and then hits the ground. Erhan Yalaz did really well then. And it looks...
Yeah, it looks like... it was red, and I actually saw him pounding the fist on the dirt there. I reckon it's that left knee again that's just collapsed under him.
So, whilst I'm reluctant to say it, Demi, you may have been right. I find that a most uncomfortable emotion, but I suspect...
I'd like to think, look, it's from what it was described to me from a friend of mine who, in exactly the same circumstance, went down in a tackle during a game, got stretchered off, then he got back up, started running, wanted to go back on, coach just said no, and then next second he's got his scans and it's done an ACL.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb. I reckon we have to rename Demi from Demi P to Demi PhD because she's nailed that one.
I feel like there's a paradigm shift going on because all of a sudden I have to be impressed by Demi.
Oh, the best part it was
And it's really hard to get my head around it, but yeah, it might have been a spot. And we don't make light of it either, by the way. Let's hope for the boy that he's okay. Fasil Aiden against Jack Petrie. Aiden.
That's Chris Irwin, the substitute, Greg.
JW with no trouble at all. Nice 7-iron. Kenny to the front of the contest. Did really well to win that against the odds. Squares it. Harry to touch around the corner. Kanakaris had to stride after it. Kanakaris against Aiden. Gets the cross in. Kenny with the header down. Strong. JW, be the man back there. He just dollies it into the path of Petrie over the top. So again, Heidelberg brewed and threatened without getting on the scoreboard. Had plenty of work to do as Kyle Kennedy in the attention-grabbing pink at the Murray Road end.
Isn't he bright?
I love the matching boots. I think it's
I know, right?
and the hosiery as well,
It's just literally all in one
making a
colour.
statement.
Yeah.
Just need some strobe lights and a disco ball. Ellis around the corner. Zara winds up, hit second gear and then gave the chase away. Kyle Kennedy again.
It's almost a shame we can't get the 600 lux lights happening this afternoon. There's no need for them, but
Don't forget, we will keep an eye on everything that's happening down at Lakeside at 4 o'clock as South Melbourne host Bentley Greens in a match of significance for Heidelberg United this afternoon. Luke Biles wins the contest in the air. Zara outgunned by Nathan Tidmarsh. Zara comes up with it though.
Nice to see the ball on the ground for a couple of minutes.
His do-tour sign came up, but he will earn the throw-in for Heidelberg, the nuggety number 9. The throw-in, JW, there he is again. Adrian Zara. Back for the skipper.
Just texting my sister in the office to come and bring me my big jacket. It's starting to get very cold out here, guys. So,
Yes, well, your comfort is of paramount importance to all of us.
always
My heart goes out to you, Demi.
Blakey, I always got to look out for myself.
It's the PS4 NPL round 25 here on HUFC TV live and exclusive across Australia and across the world.
in all seriousness, I don't think the Burgers will be necessarily satisfied with just the 1-goal lead at the moment, particularly kicking with the aid of a very strong breeze.
Ellis gets onto his favoured left again. Zara weaves through traffic. That is an absolute beauty from Adrian Zara on 33. That's a rip snorter, and there's the celebration. So Heidelberg double their lead.
And let's have a look at that on the replay. Sean Ellis probably going for the shot. Well trapped by Zara, makes a yard of space and an unerring finish. Really gave the
Bottom
keeper
left
no
corner.
chance, really.
He found it, played that perfectly. Bottom left corner.
He did not have a great angle to work with, but he took out the micrometer, made the calculation, and nailed the second goal of the game. HUFC TV, all the action. It's Heidelberg, thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, looking to shore up top spot on the PS4 NPL ladder. They are 2-0 up. Adrian Zara with an absolute rolled gold sparkler.
Jay Fod, I think you started that conversation very soon,
Well,
short. You mentioned that they weren't happy with that goal and
Ellis.
one goal lead, and in that same breath, Zara converts.
Harry Noon, powerful as Harry Noon. Takes a skip into the hands of Kyle Kennedy.
What Kenny was lurking there.
And oh look, that's I'm just having a look down at the bench for Kingston City, and Muad Zwed not looking good. He's got an ice pack on his right knee. So Demi, you may have made a searingly accurate call, and for that,
Look, I'm not happy. I
You're not
wish
I get that.
I hope it's not. I hope that that's not the case.
take
and
your
I-
hand off my chuppa chup.
I really feel uncomfortable with that's there, Blakey. No, but as I mentioned, I really hope that he's okay and that it's not an ACL or
Absolutely.
any serious damage. But
On ball again, Kenny with the header down. Zara tried to angle it for Sean Ellis. It's been a resounding display so far from Heidelberg. Now we'll scoot on the current live ladder to 51 points. 6 points clear of the two teams that will clash at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Zara, he's on fire, isn't he? Adrian Zara. Ruben Wade, the little champ. Costa stumbles under the challenge. Marginal call, but he'll draw the free kick for Heidelberg.
Just a bit of a tap on the ankle there. May have been on the Achilles.
So clearly the absence of coach George Katsakis hasn't affected the psychology of the team.
I mean, it looks quite quiet down on our bench today.
It really does.
Almost serene.
It's like, well, look at
There's no one.
like
Yeah,
sagebrush
seems
blowing
quite
through.
composed.
So it's a so it's a free kick to Heidelberg. They're up by 2. Less than 9 remaining in this first half. Petrie takes it. Goalkeeper comes, and it's in the back of the net. Well, well, well. It just seemed a wee bit too easy.
Yeah, there it was, swung in, and no one went with Kenny Athew. Got there ahead of the keeper. And there it is, 3-0.
Equal top of the Golden Boot now.
And he would be equal top of the Golden Boot with Dusan Bosniak. So it may go down to the wire next week for the Golden Boot winner.
So that is a very, very comforting scoreline for Heidelberg United as we head toward half-time.
And in great news down here, Demi's jacket has arrived. just to keeping our viewers all updated here.
Kenny. So now on a hat-trick, Kenny. Nobody cares, Demi, seriously. HUFC TV and Demi's body temperature has become an on-air issue.
I'm even getting fed, boys. This is fantastic.
Oh, it's splendid. Air Jordan marshals it back to the hyphen. Too high for Harry. Aiden goes outside for the substitute, Chris Irwin. Irwin against JW, and JW with aplomb. Gee, hasn't he found a rich vein of form so quickly since returning from injury?
Spot on, Blakey. To come back after 7 weeks and play against Perth, being that first game back. He's been spectacular since he's come back, especially having Pacey not on the pitch today.
Yep.
Yeah, great sense of security out there.
So JW draws breath, lofts it long and high in the Kenny territory.
I mean, that's a decent throw for someone with a metal rod in their shoulder.
The Kingston throw, but
Ellis appealing.
Hanyalaz.
JW set himself to get back for the Perth game, as you said, Demi, and he had a bit of a run in the big win at Bentley Greens the other week, and then back in full swing of things.
Yeah, Jordan, with the undignified clearance straight into the path of Kyle Kennedy.
And hasn't he been one of the unsung players of Heidelberg this season, Jordan Wilkes?
He steps in, he plays roles, and he does well every time.
And with no fuss at all.
Petrie and Noon.
He's,
Harry Noon has every right to argue that call, but it's a free kick to Kingston City.
I'd be interested to see how Harry Noon comes up after this game, because it's been a while since he's played 2 consecutive games. He seems to play a game and then miss a week and play a game again.
For sale, Aiden into the breeze, and it's an easy take for the hyphenator. Chris Theodoridis Petropoulos.
Now, Demi, you'd know, is he on a fortnightly deal, is he?
I don't think it's intentional, but like I said, I'd be interested. I'd hope he's back in good form and he can finish out the rest of the season in finals.
I think if the Burgers clinch the minor premiership...
Oh, Sean Ellis! Through traffic, he'll get the corner.
If they clinch the minor premiership, you'd think that he might rest a few of the sorer bodies next week.
Yeah.
But that's all to be played out, of course.
Well, given our timing of the FFA Cup, we do have a decent break if we finish first or second on the ladder, which is likely at this point. We get the week break, so following the FFA Cup game, we'll have a bit of time off so the boys can reset for finals.
The factor with the corner to Heidelberg, they're up by 2, 4 minutes remaining in regulation, and right across the can, Harry Noon on the far post.
It's almost an accidental goal there.
It was missed and missed again, and then Harry just popped up on the far post and said, how easy is this?
Well, that'd have to be one of the strangest, what would you call that, acrobatic moves? I don't know whether there's a name for that in gymnastics.
I don't think he really expected the ball to be where it was.
I'm pretty sure he had no idea it was going to end up where it ended up. But he gleefully accepted the invitation, Demi.
I think he called that right place, right time, Blakey.
Absolutely.
I think Harry would argue that he timed his run perfectly. I don't know how to describe the move, though. It's he scored a few goals this season. think it's
They've
his
really got to-
third in total, I believe, Nick.
J-Fort, they've really got to utilise the wind working in their favour in this first half as well. So
Well, I think it's been
fair.
fairly well utilised. They'll be sitting down there at Lakeside Stadium watching this scoreline on the internet and thinking, gulp, we've got a job to do.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing too, with the 4-goal lead, that also brings
Goal difference into it very much.
into the equation as well.
Because currently now Heidelberg are on plus 25 for the year. So let's talk about that scenario very quickly as we go into half-time. So should Heidelberg win this, and you'd say at this stage Kingston City are going to struggle to score 5,
Yep.
and that's just, speculation, but I'd be prepared to bet on it.
Yep.
It would mean that Heidelberg would be 6 points clear of both South Melbourne and Bentley Greens, with plus 5 goal difference better than South Melbourne.
Yep. Yep.
And well ahead of Bentley.
And well ahead of Bentley. They're not in the.
Bentley's on
they're not in
16.
the equation.
Their goal difference is 16. South is 20 and we're 21. So
Well, 25 at the moment.
yeah,
So.
sorry, 25 now.
So it may well be that the history books are rewritten for Heidelberg again this afternoon. Fingers crossed as the journey continues on HUFC TV.
And what a fitting end to the final home game of the season as well, hey?
Well, it's
That's another good observation, Demi. I'm
Doing
really
my job
concerned
lately.
about you.
Just doing my job.
And up until today, I had no idea what your job was. You
Neither
kind
did I.
of just swan around and.
Jack of all trades.
There's quadrupled the collective IQ here this afternoon, which is
Zara
worrying.
for Ellis. I just, again, paradigm shift. Demi's intelligent. Who knew? I mean, who knew? Ball out of play. It's going to be
I mean, when Ellis is...
Heidelberg.
I've just had
Thanks, Nick, for your
an urgent
55
call
cents
out from
worth.
our director. Can we get Demi to say the word Baltic?
Baltic.
Adrian Zara, no, it's an in joke.
I'd rather
It's a Dougie Hodgson joke.
Okay.
And too much levity, call team, because we've still got 45 minutes to play. Air Jordan back for the hyphen.
Few minutes left of first half here.
There'll be some time added on for stoppage because of that injury to Muad Zoued. I mean, again, we really wish him well. He's down on the bench at the moment.
Surprised he
With a
hasn't
nice
gone
back.
into the change rooms and...
He may well have gone now.
He's actually lying there in front of the,
No, he's just
He's
lying
down there.
down,
Oh,
yeah.
dear.
the technical area.
I think he should go inside and...
Yallas down the line. Harry Noon says, not on my watch.
Oh,
Yallas with some theatrics, befitting of Broadway. It's going to be...
Surprise, surprise, Harry Noon in the thick of that. Never known as the shrinking violet out there.
do you want to add fire? It's not unnecessary at this point in time.
We walk taller with Harry Noon and Jack Petrie. It's unleash the hounds when you get those two on the paddock at the same time.
Nice pick off by Sammy Nua.
It was a very late call.
So the Kingston City players surround the referee. They're not particularly happy with the treatment handed out to Saminwa.
Yeah, let's have a look at that on the replay.
Oh,
Nice
yeah.
pick off. It
It's a yellow card for Jordan Wilkes there.
was like a WWE tag team event that time.
Yeah.
So they took him down, and Jordan Wilkes, as you said, did he get the yellow card there?
Yes, he just did.
That'll be
So
two-
just the 2 minutes time added on for stoppages,
Bit
which is a
surprised
surprise.
with
Yep.
And a 4-0 scoreline, you'd have to say the Heidelberg bench are well and truly a lot happier than we were, say, 10 or 15 minutes ago.
Well, Jeff Olver, as senior coach this afternoon, will be feeling pretty darn good about himself
He's
right
just
now.
started to stand up. I think he's going to make his voice heard.
I think he'll be making a pitch for senior takeover from George.
I think it might be just a bit of worries about not conceding an unnecessary and unwanted goal so late on.
Yeah, well said, Jeff.
So 90 seconds remaining in time added on for stoppages. Here in the first half, HUFC TV, it's Demi P, Jay Fott and Blakey calling the action from Catalina Street this afternoon.
I mean, you're calling the action. I'm just providing you with some facts, aren't I?
Will not test the goalkeeper with that. Had the right idea, but the wrong delivery.
It'd be interesting to see Demi and Blakey how Heidelberg approach the second half in the face of such a strong breeze.
Yeah.
It has abated somewhat, but it still certainly favours the Murray Road or scoreboard end of the stadium.
I mean, I don't think the wind is contributing to how well we're actually playing. I think it's just helped a little bit in going forward. But Heidelberg have maintained majority of possession through this first half, and hopefully it can stay that way in the second.
Kyle Kennedy, the goalkeeper for Kingston City's had to put in quite a shift today, but he's still conceded 4. So it'll give you some idea of the domination of Heidelberg in this first half. Don't forget, if you're watching on HUFC's TV, send us your Facebook messages. It's always interesting to find out who's watching on and from where, as Harry Noon tries to manoeuvre his way past Fazal Sagazada. Harry, as always, with a kind and courteous word to the match officials.
I mean,
he's sharing the love. He went from the assistant referee to the senior referee.
Certainly not shy about voicing an opinion, is he? He's Harry.
He immerses himself emotionally in the contest.
He's such a quiet guy off the pitch too. You can very rarely get much of a word out of him, but...
And the 2 minutes became 1.5 minutes as the referee draws a curtain on this first half here at Catalina Street this afternoon. Last home game of the season, round 25 PS4 NPL. Heidelberg leader by 4 goals to 0. Opening goal from Kenny the King. A penalty on 10. Adrian Zara, who's had a sensational, scintillating first half, on 33. The King again on 36. And then Harry Noon gets gifted with a goal in the 40th minute. Here to sum up the first half action, Jay Fott and Demi P.
And really a comprehensive performance by the Burgers in the first half, Demi. It's been all one-way traffic.
Yeah.
Really threatened by Kingston City and a deserved lead at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Jay Fott.
Anything to add, Demi?
No.
Given your academic
with a 4-0
qualifications on so many levels.
I think you said it well before. We've just got to be quite careful not to, make any silly mistakes or say something unnecessary or just get a bit too aggravated when you're 4 goals ahead and you're so close to finals. It's crunch time. We've got to be mindful of all that kind of stuff.
So on the live ladder, Heidelberg are currently 6 point clear of South Melbourne and Bentley Greens, and those two teams will be clashing head to head in just 4 minutes' time. So we've got a huge 45 minutes coming up on HUFC TV. Seatbelts on if you're watching on HUFC TV. Plenty to come. We'll see you after the break. And welcome back to HUFC TV, broadcasting live and exclusive across Australia and across the world. It's Jay Fott, it's Demi, and it's yours truly, Greg Blake, with the really positive news at halftime that Heidelberg lead this one by 4-0 against Kingston City. It's round 25 of the PS4 NPL. A couple of goals to the King. And strikes from Adrian Zara and Harry Noon.
Greg, I must tell you, I got to have a chat with George Gillen, who was our special guest this afternoon, tossing the coin for the game. Former great of the old Fitzroy United, which is now, of course, Heidelberg United Club. And it was great to catch up with him after so many years. He really enjoyed his day, and he'd love to get out here more, but he reckons everyone shouts him too many beers, so he's not in any condition to drive home post-match.
So second half almost ready to get underway here at Catalina Street headquarters this afternoon. Last home game of the season. And it'll be Heidelberg attacking the goal to the left of screen toward the social club end. And you could probably see by the vision that breeze is, well, it's not a breeze, it's a wind gusting down to the right of screen. The end to which Kingston City in the red shirts and white shorts will be attacking in this second half.
And Greg will try and keep
abreast.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
Well, Luke Biles, without raising a bead of sweat. Heidelberg coachless this afternoon. George Katsakis suspended for this game.
Ooh.
Wow, that was a crunching tackle. Ruben Way hit the deck. Here, Jordan away. Sean Ellis turns it upfield into the breeze, headed away by Tidmarsh. Zara. Heidelberg attack again, Sean Ellis. So it's been a dirty day for Kingston City. They lost Muad Zwed with what appears to be
some sort
speculative
of
knee injury. And they're down by 4 at half time. Again, we'll be making sure that we've got progress scores from Lakeside Stadium. We're at South Melbourne hosting Bentley Greens in the other pivotal fixture in this penultimate round of the PS4 NPL. Brought to you, as always, by Windsor Management Insurance Brokers. Kanakaris gets the win. Then comes up short with the resultant pass.
Just got a progress score from Lakeside after in the 10th minute of play in the first half. No score there yet, so that suits Heidelberg if it remains that way.
Kanakaris belts it upfield. Oh, Harry Noon with the steal, picked his pocket. Harry Noon into the penalty area. Just corralled at the last minute, rolled it across the face of goal and out of play.
And just for the sake of completeness, Greg, in the other game as well, St Albans, who are relegation bound, leading 1-0 over Port Melbourne. Early days in the second half there, but we'll keep an eye on that pivotal match down at Lakeside throughout the course of this second half.
And keep you abreast of the live ladder as scores come to hand. The score here at the Village, Heidelberg 4, Kingston City 0. And the minor premiership, well, they've got one hand on the minor premiership right now, the Premier's Plate, as it's known. Sean Ellis darts away. Shawnee Ellis backs himself for pace. Well done by the defender. All out of play, though, and it'll be a throw into Heidelberg.
Despite the 4-0 lead, Greg, it'll be a tough task in the second half. They're going to have to work hard and run the ball up the pitch because you don't want to be playing those high balls in there, getting that wind, dragging that ball down.
3 minutes away, second half. 4-0 Heidelberg leader. JW leads the charge. Sean Ellis. Zara. It's a cross in. Awkwardly cleared by Daniel Bennett for Kingston City.
Kenny Athier was just a whisker away there from a potential hat-trick.
So the second half starts as the first finished with Heidelberg on the attack.
And I'm just going by memory. I don't think he's scored a hat-trick this season. Of course, the only one that has for Heidelberg this season is Sean Ellis in that memorable 8-0 win against North Geelong where he personally grabbed 5 goals that night. Kenny Matthews had a number of braces this season, but no hat tricks at all. As we're rejoined momentarily by Demi PhD.
Well, at some point, when she's good and ready.
Yes, I think she's only doing the half shift today. Just.
This is your caper for the women's game.
I didn't even get a half yesterday.
Saturday afternoon. Theodorides Petropoulos, unsure. He's not going to get much distance on this into the breeze, into the wind. Actually did really well.
See, though, that's just sitting up there in the breeze.
All out of the traffic and out of play. Jordan. JW guns it long, right to left. Will sit for Kanakaris. If you can control it, does. Costa Kanakaris. Road closed. Jack Petrie.
Gets picked off. Danger now.
Sammy Noir on the run for Kingston City. Goes to the outside runner. Loose ball and across the face and out of play.
Yeah, that was Taban Make, and that all started.
Today's raffle ticket winner is Black C49. If you could please make your way to rectify. Thank you very much.
Well, we can have a look at that on the replay. It all started from the mistake there, and as the balls rolled through, Mackay had the chance, tried to place it, and wasn't far away from picking a goal back.
Well, that sends a message, doesn't it? That Kingston City have not thrown in the towel in this contest.
I'll tell you what, that ground announcer, who happens to be Demi, absolutely just about deafened us.
She's the everywhere girl, isn't she? This afternoon, Kenny wants to chase this down. Pressure on Kennedy.
Tell you what, Greg,
Hoisted airborne.
anyone that had hearing aids would just about have had them burst.
Jack Petrie sweeps to the front of the contest. Luke Biles gets the away. Sean Ellis draws the ball in outside for JW. Hits a sweet shot and cleared in the end by Fasil Sakazada. As Demi P rejoins us after she's replenished her food stocks.
And just about deafened everyone in the stadium.
Sorry, I couldn't see or hear anything from the box to make the announcement.
From the echo chamber.
Just hoped for the best, really.
Tell you what, Demi, that was about 80,000 decibels.
7 minutes.
Give or take 2 or 3.
7 minutes to have a
Slightly
lapse.
mortified by hearing that. Thanks, J-Pod.
Tell you what, we might have the 600 lux, but that was about 6,000 decibels.
You must have raised the volume for the FFA Cup and not reduced it since then, have you?
Tell you what,
So you two just continue to chat amongst yourselves. I'll watch the game. Kyle Kennedy on the ball.
it's degenerated today, hasn't
It really, really has.
Bring back Dougie.
So that was neat by Kingston City.
They picked up
Semi
on it.
Noir. Luke Biles, the Iceman, untroubled on the carpet. Ellis round the body.
Lovely ball.
Kenny on the run, couldn't quite control what he might have. Gets a second look, does Kenny, the defender away. Ellis can't chase it down. Well, they've come out slugging Kingston City in this second half. Konstantinides
Here we go.
on the ball for Yerhaz.
Oh,
Not quite on the money for Noir. Konstantinides.
closing him out.
And a throw into Kingston City. And at that scoreboard end of the ground. Trundling down to take the throw, Daniel Bennett for Kingston.
It's all starting from Sammy Noor. They've struggled to contain his pace and run at the defence of Heidelberg so far.
Oh, here we go. Oh, great.
And it
save
was
by
headed
Chris.
toward the far post from Chris Irwin.
Yeah, and Chris Theodorides had to get down well that time.
All of a sudden that gusting wind has subsided. Not completely. Theodorides Petropoulos got under that just a little.
Always surprises me how much height Zara gets on.
He's got a leap. Oh, good win. Harry Noon again.
Oh,
Chip ball for Kenny, away by Daniel Bennett. Heidelberg throw.
You can see what Harry Noon had in mind that time, but he set Kenny a rather just about impossible task to chase that one down.
Ruben. 2 this afternoon for that man, King Kenny. And he kept at it, worked at it, and will earn... Well, no, he won't. I thought it came off the Kingston player.
It did. Oh, no, it didn't. It came off Kenny.
That would explain the throw-in,
Yeah,
Demi.
no. I meant to say I'm surprised you didn't see it. Why do you wear glasses then, Blakey?
You've blotted the copybook, Demi.
I mean, I'm the only one here not wearing
Ellis
glasses.
did really well to reel it in. Shawnee Ellis into the penalty area, loses his angle, but gets the corner. And that was quick thinking from the factor.
Once again, the sticky feet, Greg. You can see there on the replay. Took it down well. Just that touch there. Took it away from the goals, and Kyle Kennedy was able to narrow the angle.
Just had to release it a little bit earlier, I think.
Demi P, Jay Fott, yours truly, Greg Blake on deck for HUFC TV. Thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers. 10 minutes into the second. Score remains as it did at half-time. 4-0 Heidelberg League leadership as we speak. And we'll check in from Lakeside Stadium very shortly and see if we can get a progress score between South Melbourne and Bentley Greens. Jack Petrie. Short drop.
Get that up
Goalkeeper.
right now.
Double punch clear.
Still scoreless at Lakeside. And we played 18 minutes first half, so...
So live ladder, Heidelberg, 6 points clear.
I love watching Zara's celebrations in motion.
It was only a single flip this time. I remember, Greg, you recall the goal he scored at Green Gully to equalise that day. I think it was a triple somersault that day.
Really?
Well, I'm giving it as
I
a
mean,
triple.
he jumps high. I'm not sure he jumps that high.
Or was it? Sorry, triple flip, I should say.
Okay.
Kingston City.
The single flip this afternoon was almost mundane by Zara standards. But, I think the Burgers will be happy with to get a 4-0 lead, and perhaps if they can pinch a fifth, but certainly the key to this half will be not to concede.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, so the 3 points you would have to say are beyond doubt. Adrian Zara powers away, second, third
Lovely
gear,
ball.
hits Kenny. Bombed clear with the 8 of the breeze, but it'll take 2 bounces back to Chris Theodoridis, Petropoulos.
You can see Kingston have made the change. They've pushed up Sammy Noor up to the front line, try and exploit his pace and run at the defence.
Canna worked hard enough, but couldn't quite keep it in.
Just see the person who's collected their prize. I'm glad they heard me over the overhead speakers.
Honey, they heard you 3 suburbs
I reckon the
away.
people at Lakeside would have heard of it.
It was like listening to the birth of a dinosaur. Kyle Kennedy.
How do we even get to that point of thinking of that kind of a sentence?
No idea. Danger.
Go danger.
Kingston City, no. Luke Biles says not today.
Oh, class.
Oh, Harry gives it away. Aiden with the square ball for the little fella, Sammy Noir. He had to fight for it, JW.
Wins a free
And
kick.
gets the free kick.
And once again, a Kingston player who makes a tackle is the one that comes off second best.
They've been a bit reckless today with their tackles, not looking after themselves.
Well, I think their season really is in limbo at the moment. They can't really advance any further up the ladder after this weekend, and they're not going to get relegated. So, as I said to Greg early in the game, it's only a spoiler's role that they could possibly play.
Well, I won't spoil the party this afternoon, I suspect, for Heidelberg in their last home game of the season. And the possibility, the very tangible possibility of the minor premiership, the Premier's Plate, as it's called, being cemented this afternoon.
Watching Andrew Katanos stretch out his hammies. He looks like he's about to head on soon shortly. Jeff having a good chat with him. Be good to see Andrew have a bit of a run. He's got some legs on him.
Kanakaris did well.
Great
runs to receive.
Lovely
Inside
play.
for Zara Ellis.
And that was
And in the end, Kennedy.
absolutely magic play there. 3 or 4 passes unlocked.
Crisp and incisive were the passes. Theodoridis Petropoulos under some pressure from Konstantinides, but did it in style. Ruben Way lofts it into the breeze again. So again, we've got some welcome winter sunshine across Olympic Village.
Thank you for Taubmans for donating paint so we could repaint the grandstands, or 3/4 of it.
Daniel Bennett for Aiden. Didn't know much about it, McCoy. And JW skews that one out of play.
I'm curious, when you say JW, do you know roughly which JW you're talking about?
Yes,
It's Air Jordan and
Air
JW.
Jordan and JW.
Okay. I mean, they look alike on the pitch. They play similar positions. They have similar numbers. They don't really help themselves.
And they have similar sounding names too.
Kenny, you two should form an admiration club for each other because and I'm just wondering, for those at home watching on HUFC TV, if your mindless chatter back and forth is of any value to the broadcast. Konstantinides. Inside for Aiden. Trying to build patiently at the moment. There's Yalaz. Heidelberg covering the bases as we speak. 30 minutes remaining in regulation and a rocket way off the mark though.
It's well worked that time by Kingston. And eventually McCoy with the shot on the turn, but that was never going to trouble Chris in goals. But, good 5 or 6 passes strung together there by Kingston. Certainly not thrown in the towel this afternoon, but got to say pretty much outclassed in the first half by Heidelberg.
It's
Wind
not.
has picked up, guys, just letting you know. I'm feeling the full front of it, being on the left part of this bench. You're all well protected by me.
Yes, thanks to your girth, I'm staying warm.
Oh, I hate that word so much. It sounds so wrong. Girth. Who uses that?
Away by Petrie for Harry Noon, his partner in crime. Unleash the hounds. Harry Noon runs the gauntlet.
Nice reverse pass.
Nearly sliced it through the 2 defenders. Zara was waiting. Ruben Way lofts one. Very deep. Sean Ellis, the recipient, not quite. Arching his back, the defender angled it clear. McCoy runs to half field under pressure from Sean Ellis. Oh, big win, Harry Noon.
Ooh, I tell you what.
Good job,
Kenny sweeping back
Came in out
to
of
steal.
nowhere.
Luke Biles. Well,
Casual.
Doesn't do that very often.
does not do that very
Go,
often.
guys.
Konstantinides against Theodoridis Petropoulos. But
Yeah, we can
wasted
have
in
a
the
look
end.
at the
Say
replay.
Chris.
Casual ball away
Goalkeeper
by
Chris.
Luke Biles, and they played the triangles well. And Konstantinides and Theodoridis Petropoulos didn't commit, and the shot blasted well wide in the end.
Well, they've given a little bit in this early going in the second half. Kingston City, God bless them.
Yeah, that time a bit aided and abetted by some casual play at the back by Heidelberg.
Don't forget, now the focus very much shifts to Lakeside Stadium. We've got a progress score, Jay Fott.
Yeah, still 0-0, 25 minutes into the first half at that ground.
Sean Ellis darts
taken
into
down.
Sophie. He was absolutely taken down.
Yeah,
Waited to see if there was an advantage. There wasn't, so Heidelberg will get the free kick from just outside the D.
you can see that on the replay. Greg and Demi, the header on by Kenny Athieu. He was always favoured that time, and you can see cynical tackle that time by Erhan Yalaz. And it's a red card. It is indeed a red card.
Oh, wow.
Well, he's obviously adjudged that was a potential goal-scoring opportunity. So if things weren't bad enough for Kingston this afternoon, a straight red card. I think it's a bit harsh.
Just got worse for
He's
him.
obviously
I think that's a really harsh call, but
well. The only interpretation you could say was no. I thought it was a straight red. Or did he get a yellow in the first half?
We've got the yellow No, Josh
It was a straight red card, I think it
It
was.
is a straight red card. There was no bookings against Kingston City in the first half.
The only explanation could be that he's denied a clear goal scoring opportunity, which is from that distance. I don't know if I'd necessarily agree.
It's really open to interpretation, isn't it? Well, regardless, we press on. We've seen some mystifying refereeing decisions over the course of the season, and no doubt we will continue to. But it is what it is.
Greg, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was just a mistake, bad mistake. And we saw the Burgers on the end of a few bad decisions last week, or what we considered bad decisions.
It's called rubber the green, Jay Fott. Swings and roundabouts.
Oh,
Ellis!
Ellis.
Well, he's kept it out, the keeper.
No!
Oh, and then
Well, there it was.
Wow.
got water in front of you.
Greg. You described that well, Greg. It was a nice hit by Sean Ellis,
A nice
Went
hit.
right over the top of the keeper.
It was sweet.
and the ball, I thought initially was heading over the bar. It came back into play, headed back across goal by Harry Noon, and Kyle Kennedy's come up with a good second time.
And you just got to say, you're talking about Kyle Kennedy, the man in pink. He hasn't done a bad job today.
No, he hasn't.
He's conceded. Kenny on the run. Ball will sit in the breeze.
Oh, well done
It's
by
good
the
by the
defender.
defender. Kenny, second effort was brilliant. Harry Noon for his partner in crime, Jack Petrie.
Go out to Josh. Anyway, Jordan.
And certainly that red card will make the task a little bit easier for Heidelberg to manage into this wind.
I know you say that, but in all honesty,
JW, sorry, Demi, and the corner conceded. In all honesty, Demi.
in all honesty, in the few games that we've the opposition has been given a red card, we haven't really come against Bentley, for example. A couple of weeks ago, we were
Considered 2 goals.
We conceded 2 goals after
They
Bentley
were
got a
reduced
red
to 10
card.
men, yeah.
So I'm a little bit nervous.
Windsor Management Insurance Brokers bringing you all the action this afternoon as Heidelberg. Ellis off the near post as Heidelberg edge inexorably closer to the minor premiership in season 2017. Do we tick off the second of 4 boxes this afternoon? Doherty Cup, the trophy's already in the trophy cabinet. So it may be the day that the minor premiership is clinched, which leaves us with the FFA Cup and the final series.
Fortunately, we won't know by the end of this game, but
We'll know by 6 o'clock tonight, once that South Melbourne game is completed.
We can stay broadcast until 6.
Jay,
We'll talk about
Jay.
the grass.
as much as I love you boys, I'll be driving my 45 minutes home.
Our special guest director this afternoon, David Lynch, in fine form. His bizarre concept.
And half an hour down at South Melbourne and Bentley Green, still scoreless. And of course, the other game, St Albans, still 1 goal to the good against Port Melbourne.
So live ladder as it stands. Heidelberg with 51 points and a goal difference of plus 25.
Both
South Melbourne and Bentley Greens both on 46 points. If things stay as they are, Kanakaris, gentle ball, looking for the runner, Harry Noon. Been a big game from Harry Noon. Kanakaris. The Iceman, Luke Biles, says no.
I mean, considering how... Oh, yeah, sorry, go,
Looks
Jake.
like some substitutions here, Demi, sorry.
Andrew Katanos, like I mentioned before, I thought he was going to come on very shortly. I don't know why Harry Noon's taken off his top, to be honest.
Yeah, because he's being substituted.
Oh, there you go.
So Harry Noon makes way for Andrew Kartanos, and looks like Damien Yarkonis coming on for Stelios Konstantinidis.
Got to say, Harry
said that
Noon
very
has
well.
put in a big game today.
Yes, he has.
Now, there's a couple of chairs just went askew down there, so I'm not necessarily sure that Harry's particularly pleased
I
that he's
mean,
been subbed out of the
he
game.
hasn't
Let's-
played a full game in a while. He's probably getting a little bit tired as well, and he's getting a bit agitated on the pitch. Don't want to give away any...
And he wakes up agitated, Harry Noon,
Oh, he does.
on game day anyway. Ruben Way slices it upfield.
It's Irwin.
Good job, Ellis.
Actually, Irwin did really well in the end. Air Jordan stands his ground, true to his word. Header into Katanos territory.
Unnecessary yellow card that time. Booting the ball away.
Yeah. They're not helping their cause at the moment, being one man down and kicking the ball away after the whistle.
I'm just not sure that I'm comfortable with those being yellow card offences.
Meaning?
I don't know.
It's a heavy price to pay for.
They're really
for a
heavy
bit of
price to pay.
petulance.
Yeah. I mean, it's an emotional game, Demi.
Well, like you mentioned, they don't really gain
Well,
or
I've got to
lose
agree with
anything
you,
by
Greg,
this
there, because
game.
you could virtually take out a player and literally finish his day, if not for longer, and get the same penalty for kicking the ball away.
Thank you. Stamatia round the corner
No, I
for
think so. I think
Samuel.
it's unnecessary to, it's an unnecessary
We're
thing
not
to do.
playing tennis at Wimbledon. It's a highly emotive game.
All sport is highly emotive. That's
Lawn bowls is highly emotive.
for the people playing
You
lawn
ever
bowls.
seen them
it
kick
may
a
be.
ball away at lawn bowls?
They
Of
might
course you
throw
don't.
the lawn balls, and they're heavy, dangerous, like shot put like things. So
Go down to Queen's Park on a Sunday and never see them throwing their bocce balls around.
It'd be pretty hard to kick a shot put, wouldn't it? Might end up with
Zara
a cracked fibula, I think.
Fazal Aiden for Kingston City. Even the commentary team on HUFC TV is just getting a little bit chilled.
well, you guys aren't feeling the full wrath of the wind at this point in time. I mean, it's subtle. It's gone a little subtle for the last.
You
couple
two
of
are
minutes,
acting as
but-
great bulwarks for me. There's another word for the day there.
Luke Biles leisurely squares it for Air Jordan. JW,
I mean, it's really
the cat.
It's been so good to see the defence today hold up quite well, even in the absence of Stephen Pace, who does provide a lot of security in that
Well,
back
is that
line.
aptly named the barometer?
The barometer.
Yeah,
isn't he?
absolutely. So
Well,
I think they've done very
indicative
well
of that
today.
was on Friday night at Oakley, where he probably had his worst game for the season, and the barometer, when he's off, we're off.
I think he's having a well-deserved spell this week. It's a nice ball by Kingston, but that'll run out of play. But,
So Kingston City down to 10 players and down by 4 goals.
just 18 minutes to go.
Miller.
So a rather uninspiring second half, but eyes on the prize, and it's the minor premiership edging ever closer. We've got a score update from the Lakeside Stadium, J5.
Yeah, still 0-0, 35 minutes into that first half. So, again, all good news as far as Heidelberg are concerned.
Hyphenator.
I really wonder where you get some of these names from, Blakey.
Well,
Full inspiration.
his surname is spelt with a hyphen in it because he's got 2 surnames. So it stands to reason, doesn't it? Little Cat.
Little cat.
Lovely reverse pass.
Kenny on the right foot. Lost his angle, turns it round the body, and again Kyle Kennedy.
Oh, great
Full
save.
stretch in the air.
Sensational. That's just a great passage of football.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at that on the replay again, guys. Kanakaris, lovely ball in, and Kenny rolls his man, makes a yard of space eventually, and then almost blindsided was Kennedy, but kept his position well.
He was expecting it. It was closed out the left side of the goal, but, I mean, full stretch.
But again, lovely play there by the Cat, just rolling it for Kanakaris, and that made the space for Kenny.
Sean Ellis, short corner. Kanakaris did really well.
Oh,
It looked as if it was heading.
just
And the
missed
cat,
that
it was a
one.
Cat.
Heading in, it was.
A Cat in the end. It couldn't get the shot on target.
From almost exactly the same place as he
Kanakaris
scored
is
the
a-
goal in the rain a couple of weeks ago.
Kanakaris has had a great game today, guys.
Costa Kanakaris. People are falling in love with Costa Kanakaris all over again, including Doug Hodgson.
Yeah, the Cat, I recall a season and a half ago, perhaps 2 years ago, speaking to Jeff Olver. And I know I've said this before, but Jeff rates him very highly, says that He's got some of the quickest feet in the NPL.
Costa or Katanos?
Andrew Cartanos, we're talking about. But Kenny, Costa, as you said, Dougie, continuing that love affair again with
Dougie is a harsh taskmaster, but in recent times he's expressed his deep and unabiding love for Costa Kanakaris, the hyphenator. That's probably hyperbole, but he's really impressed by what we've seen from Kanakaris. Adrian Zara on the ball, the champ.
He's been solid today, has the champ. Not again back playing that left back role. So very adaptable he's become this year.
The automatically recalibrated defence with Air Jordan slotting in and Ruben Way
I'll agree
slotting
with
in.
you on this point right now. Kenny's just played with a little bit of a. Kenny's played with the ball a little bit after the whistle, and there was no yellow-handed for that one. And I think a bit of an appeal by the Kingston players for that one.
I just think if you looked hard enough, Demi, that you could be handing out brandishing yellow cards all afternoon for the most modest of offences. But I come from the old. I'm an old school.
I can see that.
Yes, and we saw
Yeah, by Gormlas and Marde.
we saw that video of you from yesteryear with having a bit of a tete-a-tete with the referees, including Perry Muir, he of the handlebar moustache. Very great viewing if you get a chance onto HUFC TV Facebook page.
Zara tried to gallop through the
We
gap,
have an
nothing
update,
doing.
major update from South Melbourne, who have taken the lead on 38 minutes.
Okay.
So that sets the cat amongst the pigeons again.
I mean, Bentley's not out yet. They're a strong side.
JW on the overlap
take
run,
him down.
crash tackle, kamikaze tackle. And JW rolls to the turf and another yellow card.
Let's have a look at that on the replay as it was played through by Jack Petrie looking for
Oh,
Josh and a
I
heavy
mean, he
tackle.
hasn't. He's holding his shoulder now a little bit.
He might have landed heavily on
I
that.
think he did, and he's not quite used to landing with it. He's quite strong standing up tall, but I don't think he's perfected
And
the
they-
landing with the metal rod yet.
And they may make the change pretty
Yeah,
much
he's
straight away. He's
coming
looking
off right
towards the
now.
bench.
Yeah.
That would be an absolute tragedy if he had re-injured that shoulder again.
I think he's just a little bit concerned, to be honest. I don't think he would have injured
It's
it.
just-
He's been cleared
Yeah.
by doctors.
So
It'll be Les Dumbalis, looks like.
Yeah.
JW will get a rest as they take a look at that left shoulder.
And that's a sensible thing to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't take any risks.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's going to be cornered to Heidelberg. We'll just await the change. Les Dumbalis will
Check in, yeah. Looks like Les.
come in for as the corner just. Well, I thought they were going to make the change. So
Kennedy didn't come up too good after that one. He's still down.
ball out of play. Kyle Kennedy was down for a moment or two.
Did we get that on the replay? Or?
What's the time? What are we up to?
Yeah, so the free kick was played across and the ball skewed across the face of goal.
13 minutes remaining in regulation time. Heidelberg, as they were at halftime, up by 4-0 if you just turned in.
Physio's
Kenny
taken-
has scored 2. Adrian Zara and Harry Noon, the other goal scorers, all in the space of 30 minutes just prior to half-time.
I'm looking at the physios having a chat with Josh at this point in time, having a feel of his shoulder. Hopefully everything's okay.
Sometimes after a break, it's a matter of learning to trust your limbs again. And I'm not being facetious, just having come off 4 months with a broken leg, you just panic at
I mean, but you're still
any
limping.
given time. I'm still limping.
It looks like just a slight change in formation. It looks like Josh Wilkins coming off has meant that Jordan Wilkes will play right back and Les Dumbalis will slot into a centre-half position.
Oh,
Yeah, Jordan is offside.
Oh, he'll get a yellow for that.
I know.
Oh, very lucky boy.
So some consternation on the Kingston City bench asking why, in a rather churlish manner, why he wasn't booked.
I quote, "What's the difference?"
I'm just going to pose the question, why are you trying to incite a referee to offer a yellow card to an opponent player? Again, poor sportsmanship from my point of view. Yeah, Jordan gets the foot in timely. Ellis tried to thread it for Adrian Zara. Kingston City come up with it. Iaconis stumbles through the challenge. Free kick against Costa Kanakaris. Will go the way of Kingston City. So 10 minutes as the sand spews through the hourglass toward the end of round 25 action here at Catalina Street this afternoon. Heidelberg sitting on a 4-0 buffer and headed, you suspect, towards the minor premiership.
Wilkins is going to be a bit sore tomorrow. I think so.
Well, he's we'll just keep an eye on that, but
Yeah. Maybe have a chat with him post-game, see how he's feeling.
well, that is one of your roles,
Yep,
Demi,
another
of
one of
course,
those roles.
on-camera roles.
Yep.
The hyphen guns it high and long. Kenny getting his arm
A
pulled
little
from
bit
its socket.
tug.
Of course, Kenny Athew now joint top scorer in the NPL this season, along with Dusan Bosniak. And they'll be a couple of goals ahead of Milos Lujic, Matt Thurtell, and Davy Van Schip, who are all on 15.
Don't forget the road ahead for Heidelberg in this 2017 campaign. Takes us to Bulleen next Sunday for the last home and away
That
game
wind
of the
picked
season.
up.
So it's 3 o'clock next Sunday. Don't forget on Thursday evening, the weekend pump. All things Heidelberg. Jay Fott, myself. No doubt Demi will try and insert herself into the story somehow.
Oh, that's it. Am I correct by saying that all games on the last round are played at the same time,
Same
3
time,
p.m.?
3 p.m.
Yep.
All 7 games.
There you go.
So as to
Avoid
avert any collusion or suggestions of collusion.
Yes, and we've heard that word in the news, haven't we? That word collusion. Barlas with a challenge in. Wilkes away. Headed on by Sammy Noah. Luke Biles, though, ever reliable. Noah once again for Kingston. Skipson. And Jack Petrie again, quizzically looking at the referee.
A rather tepid end to what was a spectacular game for the first half if you're a Heidelberg fan.
Yeah.
I think really with the 4-0 lead at half time, it was always going to be difficult to reduce that effort again in the second half, particularly into the fierce headwind here.
So just to recap, Kenny Athew, King Kenny of Heidelberg, of the Principality of Heidelberg, with a penalty on 10. Adrian Zara scored the second on 33. Kenny got his second on 36, and Harry Noon, 5 minutes from the interval, made it 4-0. Now the breaking story of this game,
Really struggling
certainly
with
from
the-
Kingston City's point of view. Muad Zoed off injured early in the game, and then a red card for Erhan Yalas. They're down to 10 men, the visitors. And Demi, I'm sure you had a complaint about the weather again. Would that be correct? Your body
the weather's
temperature.
just picked up exponentially in the last couple of minutes, and I'm really struggling with it. Your girth, as you said at this point in time, you all can't empathise.
Ruben Way hits it long and high. Kingston City under pressure. Foot in by Air Jordan.
Second
The little
time
cat
off, Mickey.
scampers away. That's a
lovely
great ball. Good anticipation though by Tidmarsh. He just angled it back for Kyle Kennedy.
I mean, they don't look like they're on 10 men.
Ruben.
Alex Sharbo getting ready to come on. Looks like it.
And I think it'll be probably Adrian Zara looking at that little, what do you call it, that little board that the
He's got some,
assistants hold.
Oh, Ruben was brave in the challenge. Ball spills for Ellis, can't quite keep it in. And Heidelberg with another change.
well, J Fott.
Adrian Zara gets a well-earned rest. A withering first half from Adrian Zara. Capped with a goal.
And the single flip.
And the single flip.
And the single flip, which, according to J Fott, was disappointing.
Well, no, it wasn't disappointing.
And according to
it was,
me, it would be impossible.
it was
Yeah,
mundane as compared to others.
I quite enjoy watching Alex play. Boy from Brisbane, I'm sure he's struggling with the weather just as much as I am right now.
They've got a Kenny in running.
Kenny keeps the pressure on
Hamish Miller, that
Hamish Miller, one of the subs.
He's been pretty well since he's come on as well, Hamish. Kept Kenny quiet.
Les Dumbalis
Chris
looked
forced
confused.
Yeah, Chris.
Sean
forced-
Ellis at midfield.
Oh,
So just a bit lackadaisical at the moment by the Burgers.
Oh, I think they've just turned off the motor and taken the keys out of the ignition. Kanakaris, ill-timed pass. Chopped out by Daniel Bennett, who continues the run. Bennett.
good job, Petrie.
Kanakaris. So let's have a look at the clock again. 4.5 minutes remaining in regulation time. In a 4-0 game, Chavo.
Oh,
Well, he bullocked his way to the football and then his legs went out from under him.
yeah. Just had a little bit of a slip there as he was running full pelt at the ball.
Hey, thanks again to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers, HUFC TV, all the action this season. They've been incredibly supportive.
Haven't they all season long? I mean, it's just great having them on board. Their support's well appreciated, let me tell you.
Thanks to Paul on camera and Nick, of course, directing this afternoon. My co-callers, Demi P and J Fott. Great job again today, guys. Demi joining us in commentary for the first time.
Thank you. I mean, I talk to you enough. It really doesn't feel like the first time.
Oh, you
though.
talk to me way enough. More than
More
ample.
than you'd like, right?
Luke Biles.
I like to see them slow it down a little bit. Dumbalis.
You can tell they're just playing out time at the moment.
They really are just playing out time. Just don't get injured. Ellis sweeps it into the path of Kenny, who's on a hat-trick. He won't give up the chase. Kenny gets the second cannon. Kanakaris.
Straight at the keeper.
Corner conceded. Cannon knows it was a gilt-edged chance gone begging.
You can see that on the replay there. No, we can't.
It's on its way.
Even the replay's gone down on strike, I think. So even the replays are winding down. But, yeah,
Well, the truth is, well, it should be a day of high celebration because there's every chance that this result will clinch the second of 4 trophies that this club has in the crosshairs in 2017.
Like to offer an update, guys. It's a half-time at Lakeside Stadium. South Melbourne leading 1-0 still.
We'll check on the live ladder update as soon as we get a final whistle here. Champ. Pressured. Out of it. Daniel Bennett.
number streaming forward.
McCoy. And
That was actually a very intelligent play by Luke Bowles there. He saw that McCoy was the last man, just stepped up.
Why
held
was
his
Ruben
off-
Wages?
why was
having a
Ruben
yellow card?
Wages yellow carded?
I think he might have given the player a clip on the way through there, Bennett. So the referee allowed the advantage, which was fair enough.
So we'll keep an eye on the fourth official. About 90 seconds remaining of this PS4 round 25 clash. as Heidelberg, well, I was going to say cling to a 4-0 lead.
As much as you could cling to it.
Wise choice of words, Greg.
So it'll be Kyle Kennedy again into the final 60 seconds as this matchup between first and ninth on the ladder winds down with a whimper rather than a bang. The first half was party time for Heidelberg. 4 goals. Katanos. A chance to get some game time in his legs. Kingston City get the throw. Ruben does well to pick it off. Lofts the ball in. Danger for Fasala Aiden. Nathan Tidmarsh back for Kyle Kennedy.
Kyle Kennedy's had a great...
He really has. He's
Despite the 4 goals...
He's conceded 4, but he's had a really, really good game.
About 6, 7.
He really has.
If anything, I would only criticise him for was that 4th goal that Harry Noon scored.
I think that
He
even
was
shocked
flapping
Harry.
it air at that stage. But other than that, he's been serviceable.
So can we get the King hat trick before the final whistle? We've got 3 minutes of time added on, so still time yet for Kenny to nail a hat trick here at Catalina Street this afternoon.
And that's probably the main point of interest this afternoon is can we get Kenny across the line for a hat trick which would take him to the top of the Golden Boot table.
Katanos refused to be pushed off the football, drives toward the line. Daniel Bennett with strength clears for Kingston City. And don't forget, we will give you a progress score from Lakeside Stadium and the updated live ladder before we go off air this afternoon.
Played 1 minute of the 3, Greg and Demi, so just two minutes to go in this game.
Well,
The point stands. Do you find that we've become evidently stronger since we're, 1 man up, an extra man up?
It's been really just been going through the motions, you've got to say, the last 20 minutes or so.
Oh, I think Kingston's stepped it up.
He's disappeared.
so the hyphen.
All right, boys, got to make my way down.
Great job today, Demi. Look forward to your post-game interviews. Kenny on a hat trick. Kenny with the angle.
Another save by Kennedy.
You can tell he's distraught.
And he's just lying flat on the ground. I think we all feel that one,
think
Kenny.
he
We all
realised what
feel
was-
that
what
one.
was
He
at
knew that
stake
was his
there.
last chance, and
Take your girth and go and do your job, Demi.
you enjoy
Thanks,
the win.
Demi. Well done. So, Greg, we're into that.
Last 60 seconds. Thanks to Windsor Management Insurance Brokers.
Kenny there with a real opportunity, but Kyle Kennedy, as we said, has been really good this afternoon.
Kenner,
Denies him again. There's Kenny again.
loping after it.
He's
The
determined.
unmistakable form of King Kenny. I think his window of opportunity is closed now, though.
And he still looks to be rueful about that miss.
As he ought to be. And look at him chasing it down. So Kingston City's 2017 season ends indifferently.
We've got South
Heidelberg have plenty to play for as Les Dumbalis gallops over half field. For Sean Ellis, loose ball, corner conceded.
almost there. There's a lovely piece of play by Les Dumbalis. There it was. He made the charge through. Nice little lofted pass looking for Ellis, who was onside. That first touch just...
Sticky feet.
Yeah, sticky feet.
Sticky feet.
He ran just ahead of the ball.
Sean Ellis, short corner. The cat, Ellis, left foot driven into the defender. Chavo does really well.
In the end.
And that may well be, it is the last play of the last home game of the home and away season. And the final score on a dirty afternoon for Kingston City, but another potential red-letter day for Heidelberg United in season 2017. Final score, Heidelberg United 4, Kingston City 0. All first half goals, Kenny 2, 1 from the spot. Adrian Zara and Harry Noon give us that 4-0 scoreline. And to sum it up, as we check on progress scores from around the grounds, John Fodinos.
Yeah, half-time once again at South Melbourne. South Melbourne with a 38th minute goal to Lee Monopolis, leading Bentley Greens. But in this afternoon's game, it was really all set up in the first half. Heidelberg kicking with the aid of a pretty fresh breeze down towards the Southern Road end, which is the scoreboard end here, the right of your screen. And all the damage was done, as Greg said, in the space of half an hour. Kenny Athew converting a penalty and then scoring his second in the 36th minute. In between that, we had a goal to Adrian Zara, who finished beautifully from a narrow angle, and of course Harry Noon from a corner kick. So it was a comprehensive first half display. Really, the Burgers held sway in the second half, and really without overextending themselves. A pretty controversial red card decision given against the Kingston side there. He was a player that we got sent off. We got
Erhan
Yalaz sent off. I thought it was pretty soft. He might have denied a goal-scoring opportunity, but in the end, a very comfortable 4-0 win.
So the live ladder in the PS4 NPL as we speak. Heidelberg have now played 25 games. They are on 51 points and a goal difference of plus 25. And South Melbourne leading Bentley Greens, that will give them 48 points and a goal difference of 21. And Bentley Greens, of course, out of the picture if it stays as it is at Lakeside this afternoon. I presume if you're Heidelberg fans and you're not at the ground today, you can follow all that, the progress scores on the PS4 NPL website.
Yep.
But Jay Foote, great job today.
Thank you, Greg, and great season all round for the Burgers, but there's big games ahead. Stay with HUSC TV, as you said, Greg. The weekend pump every Thursday night.
7:30.
7:30, all things news Heidelberg. We've got the big FFA Cup match, which will be on Foxtel. We can't broadcast that, but we're assuming now, as things stand, that we will have a home final, which will be now in 3 weeks' time, I believe.
So plenty to come. The weekend pump, 7:30 Thursday, all things Heidelberg, and then the road to the Premiership and the Championship in Victoria takes Heidelberg to Bulleen
next week.
Next Sunday at 3 o'clock out at the Veneto Club in Bulleen for the last game of the regular season. It's been a bit of a party day for the commentary team and for Heidelberg today, as well, they've got one hand on the Premier's plate as this 2017 hunt for 4 trophies. Is it an implausible dream?
Unprecedented, wouldn't it?
It really, really would. So lots to look forward to. I've enjoyed your company on HUFC TV. We will catch you for the pump on Thursday evening.